Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. I am super excited about this episode of Life Lessons because I think this is another one that I have learned. I have been very thankful. I have been very blessed, and I am very thankful to have learned this young and to have implemented it because I think seriously it has saved me from craziness, absolute craziness. Let's get into it. This week's life lesson is keeping yourself safe. I think that there are kind of like two stories, and I feel like the truth is kind of in between. There's the story of like, go out, be free, live your best life, everything's great. And then there's the story of like, oh my gosh, the world is awful, evil, and horrible, and it's the end of the world. And I think the truth is that reality is kind of in between. I think that I am an optimist, and I believe that the vast majority of people are actually really good. I have had some really interesting experiences with different people in different countries, and I can honestly say like 97% of my experiences have been with really good people. And then they're the crazy, evil, I don't even know another adjective, but they're over there where everyone's like, oh my gosh, like for real, they're over there, right? Crazy. And the truth is that there is good and there is evil, and that's the truth. And I think sometimes people forget that, you know, when you grow up very blessed and very privileged, and that word I think means different things to different people, but for the sake of this video, when you grow up in a healthy household, when you don't have to worry about food or shelter or where your next meal is gonna come from, or if your water is clean, you are growing up privileged, right? You may not have a lot of money, you may not have the newest and latest and greatest things, but your basic needs are met, and that is honestly just such a privilege. And that's where we're gonna kind of focus with that in the context of this video. With that being said, growing up privileged, I think sometimes a lot of people forget or are unaware that evil exists and it is over here, and that when it sees an opportunity to destroy and cause harm, it will. And I think this is really important for not just young people, but for anyone who is choosing to live their life with intention, because we are going to come up against adversity, and we are going to have different struggles. Now, some of those things might be of our own doing and us having to get out of our own way, and some might come from other people. And I think that when it comes to safety, it's important that we do it on a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and financial level. Okay, so when it comes to being safe physically, the first thing that I think is really important is that we pay attention to our surroundings. When we pay attention to our surroundings, we are aware of what is going on around us. Now, I know that kind of seems redundant, but it's very important because when we are aware of what's happening around us, we're able to see if things seem out of place. When things are out of place, you know, our spidey senses go off and we are more on alert. And this is good, especially when it comes to our safety, because if we need to move and respond quickly, we're able to do so. And what's interesting about this, both being mindful of what's happening around you and looking for things that are out of place or being aware of things that are out of place, this is universal, right? So it doesn't matter if you're in your home, in your hometown, doing your thing, day-to-day activities, or if you are traveling the world, there are certain things that are going to seem out of place, right? So for example, if you walk into a very crowded place and then all of a sudden it goes super quiet, that's out of place. Then your spidey senses go off and you start thinking, what is happening? Where do I need to go to get to safety? Or let's say you are, again, you're out, maybe you're not traveling, maybe you're out at a cafe and you're hanging out with friends and you're paying attention to what's going on around you, and you notice that there are a group of people that look not so nice and seem to be really aggressive. You are, again, your spidey senses are gonna go off, and you are going to pay attention to where is your closest exit, how do you get to safety, what's going on, what are they saying. You are going to be more heightened and aware of what's going on so that you can go to safety. And that honestly is just really important, obviously. It's important to stay safe. Another thing that you are going to look out for is strange behavior. This can be, someone that comes up to you and is talking really fast or is distracting, maybe making big hand gestures or those little things. Big hand gestures are big hand gestures, but they're small in comparison to what else could happen. So paying attention to strange behavior. An example that I had this year, actually, was my best friend and I were driving across the country to move me to Florida. We pulled into this gas station. This man came from, I'm not too sure where. We pulled in and I was like, oh, that guy is just like walking, but he was swaying and he had alcohol in his hand and he was walking toward our car, and I was like, absolutely not. It was strange behavior. His behavior indicated that he was drunk, not sober, and that was strange for the time of day that it was. And it was strange that he was just out carrying in the open, didn't care that he was drunk. I'm assuming he didn't care he was drunk, and that he was approaching my car. That's very strange behavior. I don't know you. Why are you approaching my car? Time for me to go. When we pay attention to that, it prevents something that we don't want to happen. It not only prevents it, but it keeps the door closed from even it being an option for it to happen. The next safety tip that I have is being mindful of your person. And what I mean by that is being mindful of your body and your space. So, of your little body bubble. I definitely know that that's a Western thing, but your sphere, this circle that's around you, be very mindful and conscious of what's going on in that space near you, especially when you're in crowded places and when you're in unfamiliar places. This is really important because human trafficking is a very real thing. Kidnapping is a very real thing. All unfortunate, but they are preventable. And it starts with small things. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but I'm saying when you're aware of certain things, then that helps. And when you're aware of your person and what's going on with your body, you are aware that like, hey, this person's too close, or this person keeps appearing and I don't like that. And then you are able to move and maneuver away from that person. Another thing, male or female, when you are out in public, be very much aware of how you're holding your bags and your coats for a few different reasons. The big one, which I think most people are aware of, pickpockets, right? No, you don't want to get your stuff stolen. One that I think is a little less known, especially in today's day and age. I think maybe like 5 years ago, not so much, but it's 2022 and crazy has upped its game. The reason I say mindful of like your pockets, your jackets, your purses, bags, things of that nature are because there are a lot of not nice people that are putting either air tags or tiles in there so that you are unaware, right? They might come and bump into you. And instead of stealing your passport or your wallet and your cash, then what they do is they'll track you, and they'll either track you home and rob you at home, or they'll track you to a place where you're more by yourself and it's less crowded, and then attack you and take your things. So the important thing is to be mindful of your person and what's going on around you. Keep your purses zipped up, keep your bags closed, keep your pockets zipped, or keep your hands in your pockets. Make it very difficult for them to get access to your body unknowingly. This next one, It's interesting because this to me makes complete and total sense. However, when I've had conversations with some other people, they have a totally different viewpoint. So I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'm going to tell you their opposing viewpoint and why I think it is beneficial. So this is letting someone know where you are at all times. This to me seems like an absolute no-brainer. Tell somebody where you are, especially if you're in an unfamiliar city or you're with a group of people that you don't really know, or if you're going and you're doing something that is, if you're trying something new, go for it, try something new, live life to the fullest, but be smart about it. And one of those things that is being smart about it is letting people who love you and care for you know where you are and who you're with. Now, the counter argument to this is, well, I'm grown, I'm an adult, I don't need to check in with everybody. That is true, but it is also dangerous. The reason I think that it's dangerous is you can go and have fun, but if no one else knows where you are, if the people that you're with, that you know, these are newer people or people that you're getting more acquainted with, they could do some crazy stuff. And I think we've established crazy is crazy and they just don't care. So we don't know, if you're not with people like your friends and your family and people that you know, love, and trust, it's really important that you let the people that you do know, love, and trust know where you are and who you're with. Because if anything happens to you, they are then able to call the police, get some type of help, start a search party, God forbid, but honestly, that these things do happen. And if they are able to start soon enough, then that increases the likelihood that if you're kidnapped or if you're harmed, that you're going to get help and that you're going to be found. Now, this next one goes in tandem with letting people know where you are, and that is having frequent check-ins. Oh my gosh, have frequent check-ins. The reason being is because not only do you want them to know where you are and who you're with, but you want them to be actively aware of what you're doing, and not necessarily in detail, right? If I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to San Diego, I don't necessarily need to give them a play-by-play of my life and everything that I'm doing. But if I'm going to San Diego and I'm meeting up with some friends, I'm meeting up with so-and-so, we're going here, we're leaving at 7. When I leave at 7, hey, we're headed out, right? Go out, have a good time. Hey, we got to the club, we got to the bar, we got to the concert, whatever, fill in the blank. Once you do that, let them know when you get there, when you leave, and when you're back safely in your Airbnb, hotel, wherever it is you're staying. Reason being, if, God forbid, something happens and you end up disappearing, somebody tries to take you or whatever, you get in a fight, maybe you end up in jail, whatever, your friends and family can then tell the police, hey, I know for sure at this time, my friend was on her way to the concert. She was staying here at this hotel. This is where the concert was. And that helps narrow things down for the police so that they can come and help you and find you. Same thing when you're in a foreign country. It is, hey, I'm here, I landed at the airport. Hey, I'm headed to my hotel. Hey, I'm checking into my hotel. I'm in my hotel room. All of these are kind of like safety checkpoints, and you want to let your people know that you're safe along the way so that A, they don't worry, but also in, God forbid, in the event something happens, they have something to tell the authorities so that you can get found. This is just like, I think it is so important. That's all. That's my 2 cents on that one. All right. The next safety tip that I have is be mindful of your drinks. What I mean by this is when you go out, however you go out, right? If you're going out to a concert, if you're going out for a work party, if you're going out just to have fun, whatever it is, when you go out and you get a drink, any type of drink, it can be water, it can be alcohol, it could be whatever, when you put that drink down, unless it is right in front of you and your eye is on it the entire time, get a new drink. This is really important because, again, there are people who do not have your best interests at heart. They just don't. They're selfish or evil, whatever, crazy, deranged, whatever. And as a result, they are willing to cross boundaries that have been set, right? And some of these are cultural boundaries, some of these are personal boundaries. They don't care. And what I mean by that is the date rape drug is a real thing, and that drug works on men and women alike. So whoever you are, if you have a drink and you're out in public, when you put it down, that's the end of the drink. Do not pick it back up. And this is also really important because things happen that are not good, and it happens when we are not fully aware of what's going on around us. So the date rape drug is known to cause people to kind of like pass out and not be fully aware there, or to like they're just completely knocked out, right? But there are other drugs that have other effects on people. They're drugs that people slip to other people to get them hooked on drugs. Wild. There are drugs that people give other people that cause them to hallucinate and to kind of go crazy, and that is all in a really crazy scheme to play mental games. People are crazy, you guys. People are absolutely crazy. So avoid that at all costs, and if you put a drink down, don't pick it back up. Get a new one. All right, peeps, this is a bonus tip. It is trust your gut. If you are ever in an area where you feel unsafe, or your spidey senses go off, or you get this feeling in your stomach, trust it. If you're around people, if you're, if you're going somewhere and you're just like, this feels off, trust it. The reason I say that is sometimes there are things that may seem perfect and okay, but our body is telling us something's off, and it's feeling something beyond just the physical. It's feeling things on a more spiritual and energetic level, and that's when like you feel someone doesn't have a good intent, right? You can feel that like this person's a little bit off. They might look normal, but they're this feeling, right? Trust it. Seriously, most of the time that feeling is right and it's spot on, which is, it's intuition, it's your gut feeling, and it's pretty awesome. So trust your gut. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Life Lessons. I will be back with much more. Stay tuned, and in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. Bye.